Carl went into Mira's room. He hadn't meant to. He avoided it the way sailors avoid certain waters. Yet his feet carried him down the short hall, past the bathroom where Mira used to leave toothpaste globs in the sink, to the door at the end. It was cracked open, though he always kept it shut. He remembered closing it this morning. He remembered the click. The room inside was dim, curtains drawn, dust caught in the strip of light from the hall like slow falling snow. The bed was made too neatly, the stuffed rabbit propped against the pillow. He had placed it there months ago, arranging the room like a museum exhibit. Touch nothing, disturb nothing, preserve the wound. On the floor, in the middle of the rug, was a piece of paper. A drawing. Carl stepped closer, the air changing as if he'd entered a different season. The paper was crisp and new, not yellowed like the old ones he'd kept in a box. The drawing showed a man with a long body and square shoulders. His face was a simple curve of smile. Beside him stood a small girl in a dress, holding his hand. Above them, a son. In the corner, in uneven letters, Dad plus me. His knees loosened. He crouched and picked it up carefully, as if the graphite might smear into nothing. The child's hand in the drawing was colored blue, the same blunt sky blue crayon stub from the coffee table. A waxy, bright blue that Mira always chose for hands and skies, and sometimes for tears because she'd said once, blue can mean lots of things. Not just sad. Carl held the paper to his chest. The sound that came out of him wasn't quite a sob, not quite a laugh. It was the noise a person makes when the world has just shifted and his body hasn't caught up. His phone buzzed again. Another notification. This time it wasn't a reminder. It was a text from Lena. She used to hate dark, remember? Last night, I hear her laughing in the hallway. I think she is still here. Do you hear her too? Home. The word had become a place without coordinates. He didn't answer. He couldn't. Anthor texts show up from Lena. I tried to go today. I stood there for a long time. But I couldn't take last step. I just can't do it alone. I'm not saying we are getting back, but I need you that moment. The room swam with the weight of the drawing, the smell of old cotton and dust, the rabbit's glass eyes watching him with an accusation that felt like tenderness. A soft thump came from inside the closet. Carl froze. The closet door was closed. White paint chipped along the edge where Mira used to wedge her toes and pull it open, playing hide and seek even when no one wanted to play. The thump came again, smaller, like a fist against cardboard. His mouth went dry. Mice, he whispered. It's mice. He stood and crossed the room, each step measured, as if the floor might give way. The closet was right there, unremarkable, ordinary, except the air around it seemed denser, holding its breath. Carl placed his palm on the door. The wood was cold. Behind it, something shifted. A faint rustle. Fabric. The whisper of paper. Then, very softly, a sound like a child trying not to cry. Carl's hand jerked back as if burned. His heart pounded in his ears, drowning out the rain, the radiator, the rest of the world. Mira, he said, and the name broke open inside him like a seed. He hadn't spoken it aloud in weeks, maybe months. He'd kept it lodged behind his teeth, afraid it would cut him on the way out. The closet door handle turned a fraction on its own. Carl stared at it, unable to move, every rational part of him scrabbling for explanations like loose change at the bottom of a pocket. Draft, pipes, settling wood, grief hallucinations. Anything that didn't require him to rewrite the laws of living. The handle turned again, slower this time, as if guided by a small hand unsure of its strength. The door opened a crack. Carl Darkness breathed out, cool and smelling faintly of lavender detergent. Mira's scent, impossibly preserved. Carl's vision narrowed to that thin slice of black. In it, he thought he saw a glimmer. A pale curve, a bit of skin, the suggestion of an eye reflecting the hall light like an animal's. A whisper slipped through the crack, delicate as a thread. Daddy, the word hit him with a physical force. His knees buckled and he caught himself against the dresser, the wood pressing into his ribs. The drawing fluttered from his fingers and landed face down on the rug. He could not breathe. The room tilted, edges sharpening, every sound amplified. The tiny hum of electricity in the lamp, the distant elevator cables groaning in the building's spine, the wet tick of rain. The closet door opened a little wider. Carl's mouth moved, but no sound came. His hands rose, trembling, reaching toward the gap the way you reach toward a candle flame even as you fear the burn. Something moved in the darkness, small and careful, as if deciding whether to step into the light. Carl leaned forward, tears spilling without permission, his heart tearing itself into new shapes as he finally began to understand, and the air between them tightened like a held breath, right before whatever came next. The darkness inside the closet shivered, and then a small shape edged forward. More presence than flesh, a child's outline woven from dim light and memory. Mira's hair hung in the same uneven bob, the same stubborn cowlick at her crown, and her eyes, too bright, too knowing, found his as if they'd never lost the habit. Carl's breath came in a broken gasp. "Mira," he managed, and this time the name didn't cut, it opened. "I tried," she whispered, voice like a page turning. "I kept knocking. You were always far away." He sank to his knees, palms pressed to the rug as if anchoring himself to the world. I thought if I didn't look, it wouldn't hurt." Mira stepped closer. The air cooled where she moved, scented with lavender and oranges. She lifted a hand, blue crayon hands, like in her drawing. And though his fingers met only a tender chill, the contact landed in him with the weight of truth. Not nothing, not imagination. A different kind of real.